Welcome. For those who don't know, this is Elder Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. This program has a dual purpose because it also serves as the political education for the Black Panther movement. You got to understand that your professor, who I am, is unbossed, and unafraid. I'm also a Pan-African. What that means that I am going to give us a perspective, an analysis, a thinking of how a person thinks that is from the African continent and is thinking about how the African continent can best help those people that are from the African continent. It's not based on where you're born, because I was born in the United States of America. And if I tried to look at Africa and her people from the philosophy of the United States of America, then I would be supporting our demise. And to go into that a little bit further, I talked about last week how this man was my president, not that cat, the president of the United States. You know, he is the president, but he ain't my president. This is my president, and the leadership that he is displaying along with the Alliance for the Sahel State, Brother Goita and Brother Chiani, all three of them. That's the leadership to which I follow. And I'll say more about that later. But what I want to talk about this right here. And I want to talk about this right here in light of the lesson that was given last week. And the name of that lesson last week was, who is your God? What God do you serve? Do you serve the same God as these people that is hanging you? And on this part 2, I want it to be peace, be still. Now, last week we talked about how these people had come and hung these brothers. And that happened right here in Marion, Indiana. Said that they done killed a white boy and raped a white girl and didn't do either. And there was another brother, Mr. Cameron, who I met in Milwaukee, who they let go because he was 16 years old and looked so much like a child. But they hung these two brothers, broke them out of the jail, broke into the jail, broke them out of the jail, and went to the town square and hung them. And Malcolm was saying that if these brothers are praying to the same God as these white men, then there's no reason, there's no wonder why their God didn't answer. You can't pray to the same God that these people are praying to. So as we're developing that, the question that I want to deal with is, why didn't this God that they should have been praying to, why didn't he answer? And it makes me think of a poem that Nikki Giovanni did called Great Pax Whitey. And in that poem, she says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was death, and the Word was nigger, and the Word was death to all niggas, and the Word was death to all life, and the Word was death to all. Peace, be still. And as she is getting ready to cite that poem, she's got the New York Symphony Choir, and they're singing, peace, be still. And in the refrain that they're singing, they're talking about when Jesus was on the boat with the disciples and the sea got rough and the disciples got scared, and they went to Jesus and said, Jesus, man, don't you care? Don't you see how the sea is being in turmoil? Now that turmoil is is threatening our life, our safety. Jesus, don't you care? But see, they were fortunate. They were able to go on and talk to Jesus in person because Jesus was on the boat. Who do you talk to if you're talking about your God and it ain't on the boat? Who do you talk to? Well, see, there's something that you got to understand. The God that chose us, and obviously we were chosen. Our God, who chose us, who is the God that created the world and the universe, that God said that we are chosen because if you look at the evidence, all of the resources that are located in the whole wide world are located on the African continent in abundance. And you find it everywhere else, but you can't find everything in a specific location except on the African continent. So obviously, if you look at the essence, the evidence, we were chosen. And that God is all powerful. That God could have stopped this. But the question is why? Why didn't God stop it? And in that refrain, the brother, he says, Master, and he talks about the tempest is raging and the billows are tossing high. The sea is not calm. God, Jesus, do you care whether we perish or not? And Jesus, now, Howard Thurman says there's a couple of ways to get in touch with Jesus and get in touch with God. You can be very calm and quiet, and he'll show up. Or you can act like you mad at God. You upset with God. And the disciples obviously chose the latter. They went to God and went to Jesus. And I don't equate God and Jesus, but they do. They did. And others do. But they went to him. And he was there. Said, Jesus, we done saw you feed the 5,000. We done saw you raise the dead. Lazarus still lives. We know you can calm the sea. Why you over there sleeping, man? And Jesus got up, walked to the front of the boat. I can see him raising his hands, saying to the sea, peace, be still. But we don't have that option. We can't go to the front of the boat. This happened in Marion, Indiana. We can't go to the corner store and ask Jesus to save us, to get us down. So what do we do at times like this? When these people, we can't serve the God of these people. They having fun. Look at that woman there grinning. Her too. They happy. They got what they call, Billie Holiday calls strange fruit. That's being watered. The tree's roots are being watered with blood. Strange fruit. You see the brother, he hanging. Blood all on them because they beat them all up. You can see how they been beat up. And as God-fearing as we are, we cannot be praying to the same God as these people are praying to. But why won't our God answer? That's the question. And the answer is, he's chose us. He's upset with us. Because that God is omnipresent. He's not only omnipotent, all powerful, but he's omnipresent. That means he's everywhere. That means he's within us, because we're somewhere. If we somewhere, then that means that, and God is everywhere, then that means that God is located here in us. And see, when you talk about the God that they serve, they showed up. They didn't go here and try to do this by themselves. If the person that hung them went by himself, then them brothers would probably beat his butt. But because their God came in the person of them, they were able to be successful because our God didn't show up. Who's our God? That's you and me. If we'd have showed up in force, armed, and told them white folks, you better not hang them, they'd be living today. Well, maybe not today, but they'd have lived longer than the time that they lived in that daggone tree, because this happened in 1930. They might be living. They could. Because they was 20 and 21. 1930, God might have blessed them with a life to live this long. But because we didn't show up, because our God didn't show up, because the God that's within us did not show up, they lost their life. Now, I know y'all said, well, Ajabu, that was way back in. That was 1930. No, that's today. I don't know if you heard it, but if you haven't, let me help you. These two brothers was hung in Mississippi last week. This ain't yesterday. They were hung by the same people that hung them. Their God keeps showing up, but our God, you and me, act like we can sit around and this stuff will stop. Now we got to get out. And we got to get busy. These brothers, Trey Reed and Randon Zukits, were hung last week in Mississippi. He was hung on a college campus. And they still coming up with the same story. They committed suicide. They done it themselves. Fuck that! And so our God has got to show up. We can't go to the front of the boat and talk to Jesus, but we can show up. Because this has got to stop. This has got to stop. And we can stop it. And we will stop it. And this is the reason why I like these brothers. Yeah, I'm going to put them there. But especially this one. Because they have stood up. And they're saying that our God don't like the way that we're being treated. They're not praying to these people's God. They're praying to these people's God. And because they prayed, they done picked up the arm and they done took land and they done told friends in America, look, we ain't doing that no more. We gonna stop that. And they're organizing to the degree that they got what they call volunteers, because the people that's trying to take them out will go out into the neighborhood and they will shoot the people and harm the people. before the army can get there. And so what they're doing, they're saying, oh, okay, what we need to do is we don't need to get there. We need to have a presence there. We need some volunteers, and people come forward and say, okay, yeah, train me. If they come up and through here, we'll defend ourselves. See, the same thing needs to happen right here in the United States of America, because y'all think they're playing? You think he's playing by putting them troops into these cities that have large African populations? You think it's about crime? No, it ain't about crime. And you can see that in the evidence, and a good example is that assassination that took place with that cat that they call him, Charlie Kirk. I don't call him Charlie. I call him Chuck, because I don't respect Chuck, and so I say Buck Chuck, the way that Chuck has been talking about how we are lesser people than white people, how white people are supposed to keep the superior place in society as opposed to us. I don't like Chuck. I don't care for Chuck. I don't respect Chuck. And I say Buck Chuck, because Chuck is trying to get with Duck. And you know, I say Buck Duck too. Look like a duck, walk like a duck, got yellow hair like a duck. I'm talking about Donald D. Duck. I just affectionately call him Duck. Buck him! And see, right now, they're trying to deify that cat. They trying to make him appear like he's the second coming of Jesus. And they're pushing that Christianity. He was a Christian man. How could this transgender lover kill our shining star? Well, now you know how we felt when you killed Malcolm. And when you killed Martin, and when you killed Medgar. They were our shining stars, and there's a bunch of others. Kwame Nkrumah. They were our shining stars. Now you know how it feels. But now what they want to do, instead of being still, they want to get busy. A white boy kills a white boy, and historically, colleges and universities start getting death threats. We didn't do that. But what they're telling you is, look, if we kill each other, it's your fault. Because we're killing each other because we're arguing about what to do with you. And even though it's this transgender guy, and he's confused and he's upset that we're talking about his lover, and he done went and killed one of our shining stars, probably the shining star that the right has, the conservative right has, that the people that with racial issues has. They done killed old Robinson, I think his name, done killed Chuck. And they said he done killed our Jesus. He's a modern day Jesus. Well, he ain't our Jesus. He don't like us. And we can't be serving the God that he serves. He's serving the God that these people serve. These people are hung us, and he's doing the same thing. And that hanging is still taking place right now here today. So now, Buck Chuck, it's time for us to get together. And our brother is showing us how to do that. And he's saying that he's a Pan-African. He understands that this land that they done took, he said, shoot. And I talked to the man right up under him. He said, Elder Ajabu, we understand who you are. We understand that you were stolen. We understand that because you were stolen, that didn't mean that you still not, that we understand that you still one of the family. We with you. And because we are Pan-Africans, and we understand that we have been chosen by the God that created the universe, because he done gave us all the resources, the evidence is clear, and we agree that just because you were stolen and brought to America doesn't mean that you shouldn't help or reap or benefit from the resources that's on this continent. And they're willing to do that. But these folks who worship their God is saying, in the beginning was death. And it was death to all niggas. And they're trying to make that happen. And you see Duck. You see old Duck. And you see that guy, he's breaking out his song there. He's over here. You're talking about Duck. Telling you. Look, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. And he ain't just talking about them Hispanics. Eventually, he coming to us. He's already done come to us. A brother from Burkina Faso got arrested a couple of weeks ago in Ohio, in Cincinnati. And see, he's telling you, Chicago is about to find out why it is called the Department of War. He done changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. So he said, we ain't defending no more. We shoot. We aggressively fighting. We gonna bring the fight to you. Well, when he bring the fight to us, we should be ready to give him what he's looking for. They can't beat us. Ain't nobody afraid of Duck. Buck Duck. And we gonna give him. And this brother has organized a force to make it happen. So, and now they're trying to tell us that old Chuck is the second coming of Jesus Christ. They done made it damn near a crime to say anything about Chuck. I mean, if you say something bad about Chuck, they will make you lose your job. Jimmy Kimmel got canceled just because he ain't said nothing. Well, the dude that killed Chuck he's on Duck's team, and they say, why you say something like that? Cancel this show. They done made it a crime to say something about old Chuck. But look, I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal. I'm getting ready to commit a crime. I'm getting ready to tell you how I feel about Chuck. Walk with me. Walk with me. Y'all come on and walk with me. I'm getting ready to show you what I think about Chuck. Chuck is going to not only be shut up, God done shut him up. I'm getting ready to burn him up. Because Chuck don't do nothing to me. Chuck ain't about us. Chuck ain't about us. Chuck ain't about us. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah, I want y'all to see. I want y'all to be able to see what I'm getting ready to do to Chuck. Chuck ain't nothing. He ain't the second coming of Jesus. Where you get that from? He ain't the second coming. Nah. And because he's not the second coming, we ain't going to be trying to deify him or go along with nobody that's trying to deify him. He ain't no deity. But Chuck. And this is what I'm gonna give you. This is what Chuck gonna get from us. This is what he gonna get from us. This is what we gonna do to Chuck. Fuck Chuck. Chuck ain't nothing. Yeah. God done shut him up. We burning his butt up. Now I know they gonna say, elder, you're insensitive. No, I'm not insensitive. Why would I love somebody who talks about my woman like he talks about my woman? Y'all understand? I just came back from Norfolk, Virginia. That's the home of Nat Turner. I went to his school. I ain't trying to back up. I'm trying to stand up. In fact, I'm going to be like my brother Colin. I'm getting ready to tighten up. Bucked up. Bucked up. All of them need to go. And we need to stand up so that we can be up in our rightful place. And Nikki, see, we wonder why. And last week, let me put it like this, last week, I called on college, and college showed up. This week, I'm going to call on Nikki Giovanni, and I bet she shows up. Nikki, where you at, girl? Where are you? I need you to talk to me, Nikki. And see, last week, I hollered. Because in seminary, they say if you really want to hear you get your prayer answered, you got to be sincere. And there's no one more sincere than me right now. And so, as I get ready to call on our Father, Father! I need to hear from you. Father! See, and I'm calling on the guy of these brothers. Not of these. Father! Give us Nikki. Nikki, talk to us. Talk to us. Tell us what's going on. I need to know.
In the beginning was the deed, and the deed was death, and the homies are getting confused. Peace, be still. So the great white prince was shot like a nigga in Texas, and our black shining prince was murdered like that thug in his cathedral, while our nigga in Memphis was shot like their prince in Dallas, and my lord, ain't we never gonna see the rumblings of this peace?
Still. No! Ain't we got no pride? We gonna continue to let them treat us like this? We don't like our children. We gonna let them continue to do that to us? Ain't we got no pride? The God that has chosen us, has given us, that's what we need. We need to stand up and be ourselves. Oh! Black people, ain't we got no pride? This is the reason why our God is not showing up, because we won't come together. We want to squabble about who's going to get the credit for bringing us together. I don't care if you're Rastafarian, Nation of Islam, Christian, Muslim, don't believe. I don't care. Are you for Africa? Are you for the African? Are you believing that the resources, that the God that created the resources in the world, Do you believe that God, and can you see that God has chosen us? He's given us everything. But he's mad at us because we won't come together. And so we get this. They can't whip us. There's 1.4 billion of us on the African continent. You don't find that many people. You might find it in China. You might find it in China. They got 1.3, but we got 50 million in the United States. There's 135 million in South America. Our numbers say they can't beat us. It's time for us to come together and act like we are children of our God and take care of this family affair. You've been listening to Elder Ajabu. I'm bossed and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. Who is your God? Who do you serve? Because the rumblings of this peace must be still. And we got to support those who are doing what needs to be done in order to be for this peace to be still. We got to support Rodney Hinton in Cincinnati, who killed that cop for killing his son. Yeah, he's worthy of support. We got to support Othel Wallace, who killed a cop because the cop was trying to treat him inappropriately. Yeah, all of those brothers are worthy of support. We need to get Jamil Al-Amin and all of those other brothers out of the penitentiary, including my son. They got to come out of there. The way to do that, and the leadership to do that, is for us to think as Pan-Africans and support the leadership of this Pan-African who has taken up arms, taken land, and understands that it's for all Africans in the world. You know that I don't have but one question for you. You ready? Really?